Flay, in today's episode, we'll try to answer a tough question. How long does it take to implement a PIM system? As you can probably guess, the general answer is, it depends. However, we'll try to explain what the duration of the implementation might depend on, and based on our experience, estimate how much time you should set aside for implementing the system in your organization. Implementing a PIM system is a process that can be divided into several key phases. The first phase is the pre-implementation analysis. We discussed this stage in detail in our previous episode. You can find a link to it here and in the description of this episode. We encourage you to watch it. In short, the pre-implementation analysis is a series of meetings between the implementation partner and the client. The analysis involves thoroughly examining the company's needs, reviewing existing systems that store product data and processes, as well as defining the implementation goals and how to use the key functionalities of the PIM. Thanks to the analysis, we can recommend the PIM system best suited to the organization, as well as estimate the project budget and its timeline. The analysis takes about 2 months or more, depending on the complexity of the processes and the issues that need to be addressed during meetings. The second phase is the implementation of the PIM system. After completing the analysis, we move on to the system implementation, which, depending on the complexity of the project, can take from 3 to 6 months or even longer. Why is this such a time-consuming process? The implementation of a PIM system consists of several important steps. We always start with a project kickoff, which is the moment when we officially begin the implementation and confirm the assumptions and arrangements from the pre-implementation analysis. At the beginning of the project, the PIM system is installed or access to the purchase license is obtained. Next, we move on to modeling the structure of the product catalog in the PIM, which means designing the framework for the product data that will be stored in the system. We set up various attributes, crucial attribute groups, comprehensive product templates, categories, channels, and many other system elements that require configuration and setup. While initially modeling the catalog structure in the PIM, work can already commence on seamlessly integrating the PIM system with other external systems from which data will be brought into the PIM, such as an ERP system, or to which data should be transmitted from the PIM system, for example, e-commerce. Building integrations is one of the most time-consuming stages. The duration of this phase depends on the number of integrations and their complexity. The more product information flows between systems and the more data transformations are required in the integrations, the more time-consuming the preparation process will be. An optional stage of implementation may be adapting the system to the specific needs of the organization, that is, adding custom functionalities to the PIM that are not available in the standard version of the system. This stage of the project can also have an impact on extending the schedule. Once the PIM system already has a modeled structure for product data and the integrations are preliminarily prepared, it's time for data migration, which is also known as hydrating the PIM system with data for specific products. We migrate to the PIM, among other things, technical specifications, marketing descriptions, photos, product documentation, in general, all the product information the client would like to store in the PIM. This stage can also go more or less smoothly. Everything depends on the current state in which the data is stored. If our data is very scattered, there are many files and drives from which we need to retrieve the data. In that case, the process of organizing the data and transferring it to the PIM system will be more complicated. If the data can be migrated mainly from a single system, this stage will be less time-consuming. After migrating the data to the PIM, it's time to set up accounts, assign permissions, and provide training for users. We then organize meetings for the people who will be managing the product database in the PIM, familiarize them with the system's functionalities, and show them how the data enrichment process works in the PIM. As you can see, the implementation phase of the PIM system consists of several important steps, which can turn out to be more or less time-consuming. This stage usually lasts from 3 to 6 months. However, this period can be extended. The third phase is maintenance and optimization. After the system implementation, we move on to the third phase, which is system maintenance and optimization, often also called the post-MVP phase. In this phase, for example, work can be undertaken that did not have a high priority in the initial stage of the implementation. There may also be optimizations made to the operation of integrations, or simply ongoing supervision of the proper development of the PIM system and the addition of new product data to it. The third phase is a continuous process in which the PIM system becomes part of the organization's system architecture, requiring more regular reviews, training for new users, and the addition of new functionalities based on new requirements that arise from users. To sum up, implementing a PIM is a complex process that consists of 3 basic stages: pre-implementation analysis, system implementation, and maintenance and development. Depending on the company, the implementation time may vary. From our experience, implementing a PIM system together with the pre-implementation analysis takes at least 5 months, and in more complex projects, it can take up to a year or even longer. If you have any questions about implementing a PIM or are interested in the details, leave a comment or let's schedule a free consultation. We'll be happy to help and answer any questions you might have. Thanks for today. See you in the next episode.